simply the process of obtaining and utilization of food for meeting various requirements of living being. It is simply what? Obtaining and utilization of food for meeting the various requirement of a living organism. So that we call it as nutrition. Now, when we talk about type of nutrition, we people have discussed autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. हमने जो है heterotrophic और autotrophic mode of nutrition को discuss किया. Now, how we are going to differentiate these two, autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition? See, in autotrophic nutrition, this is a type of nutrition in which the living organism make their own food. Okay, and in heterotrophic, the living organism do not make their own food. They have to depend upon other living organism for their food. Okay, they directly depend upon the producers, we can say, or indirectly depend upon the producer. So that is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, heterotrophic mode of nutrition, that is food is not prepared by the living organism. Now, in autotrophic mode of nutrition, when we are talking about autotrophic in the mode of nutrition, they constitute the raw material for manufacturing food. Means inorganic substances are used for manufacturing of food. Okay, when we are talking about autotrophic mode of nutrition, an external energy source is required for synthesis of food. Am I right? What we people yesterday discussed is that carbon dioxide and water, these are the essential things. Yes, these are the essential things required for the process of photosynthesis. कल हमने ये डिस्कस किया था कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और वाटर ये essential raw materials है for the process of photosynthesis, and no doubt the process of photosynthesis is carried out in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So we can use the sentence like external source of energy is required for autotrophic mode of nutrition for synthesis of food. Okay, but in heterotrophic nutrition, an external source of energy is not required. The required energy is present in the food obtained from outside. Here, the external energy is utilizing for synthesizing food. In autotrophic, we are talking, and in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, the food is already there, and living organism consume that food. Okay, they take that food. So this is the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, chlorophyll pigments trap the solar energy, but chlorophyll is absent in heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So in this way, we are going to differentiate autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And in autotrophic mode of nutrition, what we come to know that by the process of photosynthesis, the autotrophs prepare their own food. Now, yesterday we people have discussed this. Then we people have discussed regarding the different steps or mechanism of photosynthesis. Okay, who will tell me what are the 3 steps which we people have discussed yesterday? Yes, anyone? Do you remember the steps which we people have discussed yesterday? Anyone tell me? Pallavi, Priya, tell me what are the 3 steps for photosynthesis? Yes, the first one is, tell me, Pallavi, Deepa, Niharika, anyone? What are the different steps for the process of photosynthesis? Yes, anyone tell me?
Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll.
Yes. Then
conversion of light energy into chemical energy.
Very good.
And reduction of carbon dioxide.
Yes. See, we people have discussed yesterday 3 steps. The first one is absorption of solar energy by the chlorophyll pigment. What the chlorophyll pigment do? They trap the solar energy. After that, that solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and there is photolysis of water. Okay, this is the second one. And the last one which we people have discussed is reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. Carbon dioxide जो है वो reduce होके किसमें convert हो जाता है? Carbohydrate. Now, when we are talking about the photosynthesis, about the process of photosynthesis, see, if we discuss, there are two different phases. One is called photochemical phase, another one is called biosynthetic phase. ये दो phases होते हैं. एक हो गए photochemical phase. Photochemical phase, okay, that is what the reaction of these phase are driven by the light energy. इस phase में जो reaction होगा वो light के presence में होगा. ठीक है. तो yesterday I told you, so that's why it is called light reaction. And next one, that is reduction take place in that is called the dark phase. Okay, that is the dark reaction. So these are the two things in the process of photosynthesis. So next, we people have discussed regarding heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In heterotrophic, parasitic and saprophytic. What are those two types of nutrition? Yes, how you are going to define parasitic nutrition? Sahil Paul, you tell me parasitic nutrition. Yes. Sahil Paul, tell me.
Parasitic nutrition is a mode of nutrition in which organism obtain their food from the another organism.
Okay, the organism from whose body it is obtaining food, that is called host. Parasitic nutrition में वो host के body से जो है वो nutrients को लेते हैं. तो mode of heterotrophic nutrition in which a living organism obtain food from the living organism of other living organism, and the living organism from which it is obtaining its food, that are called host, and the organism which is obtaining which is taking food, that is the parasite. So here we come to know about two types of parasite, that is endoparasite and exoparasite. That is endoparasite and actoparasite. Okay, endoparasite reside inside our body and actoparasite reside outside the body. Can you give some example of endoparasites? Endoparasites. We are saying that those living organisms.
Ascaris.
Yes.
Ascaris.
Ascaris, Plasmodium, tapeworm, okay, roundworm. These are the example of endoparasites. Now tell me the example of ectoparasite. Ectoparasite.
Lice.
Yes, leech, bedbug, mosquito come under also this. That is the periodic, means it is external parasite we can say. But mainly when we people talk, we will take the example of lice. Okay, so this is regarding the ecto and endoparasites. How we are going to define the parasites? That these are those living organisms which reside in or on the body of other living organism and obtain their food. Okay, when they reside inside our body, inside the body of other organism, means inside the body of the host, we call them as endoparasite. And if they reside on the body of the host, then we call it as ectoparasite. We are using the term ectoparasite. Okay, so this is parasitic mode of nutrition. Now next one is saprophytic nutrition, that is saprotrops come under this. Saprophytes, these are those living organisms that feed on dead and decaying matter. Okay, now saprotropic mode of nutrition, it is mode of nutrition in which food is obtained from dead and decaying matter. We can say organic remains. We can say organic remains like dead organism, excreta, fallen leaf, broken twig, or food article. Okay, from these things, from dead and decaying matter, the living organism is obtaining its food. That type of living organisms are called saprophytes, and their mode of nutrition is called saprotropic mode of nutrition. Now, when we talk about saprotropic mode of nutrition, what kind of digestion takes place in saprotrops? Yes, it is. What kind of digestion? Anyone? In saprotrops, what kind of digestion we will see? That is digestion occur outside the body. Is it correct or not? Tell me. When we are talking about saprophytes, we are saying that digestion is taking place outside the body. What does it mean? Yes? Anyone? Do you know about external digestion? Saprotrophs perform external digestion. What they do? They pour the digestive enzyme over the external organic substrate, and these enzymes, what they do? They break the organic compound into simpler and simpler substance, which can be absorbed by the saprotrophs. Is it clear to you all? क्या ये clear हुआ? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Or again I am going to repeat. Yes, tell me whether it is clear or I am going to repeat it again. क्या clear हुआ कि फिर से repeat कर दें? Yes, tell me.
Clear.
मैम रिपीट कर दीजिए.
Repeat. Okay. See, suppose we are taking the example of mushroom. Let us let me draw a mushroom. Here we are talking about heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay. So in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, we are dividing the heterotrophic mode of nutrition into three parts. That is parasitic, saprophytic, and holozoic. So if we are taking the example of a mushroom, say here I am drawing one mushroom like this. It is somewhat like this. Okay. Here I am drawing one mushroom. It is somewhat like this. Okay. This one is the structure. See, if this is a mushroom, it grow where in that we people have learned that mushroom grow means mushroom is a kind of example of, it is an example of fungi. So this is the example of saprotroph. Mushroom क्या है? एक saprotroph है. Okay. So when we are saying that digestion is taking place externally, it means what? They are obtaining their food from dead and decaying matter. Suppose here dead and decaying matter is present. Okay. These are the dead and decaying matters. What this living organism is doing? It is secreting certain enzyme outside the body. Okay. Certain digestive enzyme is secreted by this organism outside the body, and due to that digestive enzyme, whatever the external organic substance, here we are talking about these things. These are the external organic substance. Okay, this one is our mushroom. So if this is the saprotroph, here we are taking, these are the organic substances. So if what they do, they are secreting certain digestive enzyme outside their body. अपने बॉडी से बाहर वो क्या करते हैं? कुछ डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम का सिक्रीशन करते हैं. दे पोर द डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम आउटसाइड द बॉडी वेयर ऑन द ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस पे जो कि बाहर मौजूद है. ठीक है. एंड व्हाट दिस डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम इज गोइंग टू डू? ये डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम जब क्या करता है? इट इज गोइंग टू ब्रेक डाउन द कॉम्प्लेक्स मटेरियल इनटू सिंपलर फॉर्म. कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑर्गेनिक जो मटेरियल्स है, कंपाउंड्स है, उनको सिंपलर और सिंपलर फॉर्म में वो ब्रेक डाउन कर देता है. ठीक है. व्हाट? डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम्स. एंड देन दे एब्जॉर्ब दैट. ओके. सैप्रोट्रॉप्स क्या करते हैं? उसको एब्जॉर्ब कर लेते हैं फिर. तो that type of digestion, as the digestion is taking place outside the body, it is called external digestion. ऐसे डाइजेशन को हम लोग क्या कह दिए? एक्सटर्नल डाइजेशन. ठीक है. What the saprotroph is going to do? Saprotrophs, we are saying that they grow on dead and decaying matter. They obtain their food from dead and decaying matter. So how they obtain their food? They are obtaining their food by secreting certain digestive enzyme outside their body. They are secreting certain digestive enzyme outside their body, and due to that digestive enzyme, the organic substances which are present around them, that is going to break down, complex compounds are going to break down into simpler form, and then absorption take place by their body. So this is external digestion. Now I think it is clear to you all. Is it clear? Yes. Saprotrophs, what they are doing? They are secreting digestive enzyme. Due to that digestive enzyme, the place where they are found on dead and decaying matter. So from that place, what they are doing, when the complex material is breaking into simpler form, okay, simpler compounds, then the absorption is taking place by their body, and in this way they are obtaining their food. Okay, ये इस तरह से अपने food को obtain करते हैं. So that type of nutrition where a living organism feed on dead and decaying matter, that type of mode of nutrition is called saprotropic mode of nutrition, and the living organisms are called saprophytes. Okay, what kind of digestion is taking place in saprophytes? It is external digestion. Okay, ये कौन सा digestion है? It is external digestion. Now if you have any doubt, you can how we are going to differentiate between saprotropic and parasitic mode of nutrition. कैसे हम लोग saprotropic और parasitic mode of nutrition को differentiate करेंगे, ठीक है? तो nutrition in saprotrops, if we people are talking about, they are getting their food from organic remains. Saprotrops कहाँ से food ले रहे हैं? Organic remains से, from dead and decaying matter they are obtaining their food. Whereas when we talk about parasites, they are obtaining their food from the, yes, tell me the answer. They are obtaining their food from the, parasites are obtaining food from the, what will be the sentence?
Living organism.
From the host.
Host.
Yes, from the host, from the other living organism or from the host in which they are residing. So the first basic difference is that saprotrophs, they get their nutrition from the organic remains, and parasites, they are getting their food from the body of the host. Okay, they are obtaining the food from the body of the host. Then external digestion take place in the saprotrophs. Saprotrophs में कौन सा digestion होता है? External. Whereas when we are talking about parasites, their external digestion is absent. वहाँ external digestion क्या है parasites में? Absent है, ठीक है? Now when we talk about the sucking organ, do you know about sucking organ? Yes, anyone? Sucking organ we say ऐसे organs जिनसे वो शक करता है, मतलब वो चूसता है दूसरे से ये ब्लड, दूसरे के ब्लड को, तो sucking organ that is called. So sucking organ, it is absent in saprotrophs, while in parasite the sucking organ is present. Parasites में sucking organ present होंगे? क्या कहते हो? What do you think? Yes, tell me. When we are talking about the sucking organs, suck करने के लिए जो organs होते हैं, if we are talking about the parasites, here we people have discussed that leech is also a parasite, an example of parasite. Head louse is also an example of parasites. So do you think the sucking organ is present?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, in parasites the sucking organ is present, while in saprotrophs it is absent. Okay, because they are not sucking the food. Now only digested food is absorbed by the saprotrophs, but parasite, the ingested food can be pre-digested or undigested because they are residing in the body of the host. Okay, so this is the difference between saprotrophs and parasites. So when we discuss about these two type of nutrition, the basic thing which we keep in mind is that in saprotrophs it is external digestion and suckers are absent, while in parasites the suckers are present but digestion is not external. So this is the main thing. Now moving on to Holozoic mode of nutrition. What happens in Holozoic mode of nutrition? Yes. Anyone tell me Holozoic mode of nutrition, how you are going to describe? This is the mode of nutrition.
Complex food material is broken down into simpler and simpler form.
And yes, so that they can be absorbed in the blood, and the undigested food material then it is removed outside. So that is called Holozoic mode of nutrition. इसी को हम लोग Holozoic mode of nutrition कहते हैं, ठीक है? Now when we are talking about, say we are taking the example of two living organisms, one is amoeba, another one is say human. Okay, in both we will find what kind of nutrition? Yes, tell me. In both when we are talking about both amoeba as well as human, what kind of nutrition is present in both? Holozoic. Yes, Holozoic nutrition is there. Okay, if we take the example of herbivore, carnivore, there also, or omnivore, there also we will find Holozoic mode of nutrition. ठीक है, हम लोग जो है इनमें भी हम लोगों को Holozoic mode of nutrition जो है वो दिखेगा. Now in Holozoic mode of nutrition 5 steps are there. 5 steps है Holozoic mode of nutrition. See, I am writing the first one. It is ingestion. The first step is ingestion. Okay, this one is the first step of holozoic nutrition, that is ingestion. Now, anyone tell me what is ingestion? Yes, it is taking in of solid food with the help of temporary or permanent mouth. Why we are using the term temporary or permanent? It is taking in of solid food with the help of, say, temporary or permanent mouth. Because in case of amoeba, what we people see, that amoeba develop false feet, which is called amoeba false feet को develop करता है, उसको क्या कहते हैं?
Pseudopodia.
Pseudopodia. So once amoeba see the food, it develop the false feet to engulf the food, and that's why here we people are using the term temporary. Okay, so it is taking in of solid food with the help of temporary or permanent mouth. That is the first process, that is the first step in the when we are talking about how organism obtain their nutrition. Okay, how do organism obtain their nutrition? In that, first we are talking about the ingestion. Ingestion, it is simply taking in of solid food. Okay, when we are talking about human, we are simply, when we are putting food into mouth, then from there it start. It is simply the process of taking in food. So the first step is called ingestion. Now after that, the second step is called, yes, after that,
Digestion.
digestion. Very good. So second one is digestion. The second step is digestion. Third step is, yes, third, after digestion, what happens?
Absorption.
Absorption. Yes, the third step is absorption. So here I am writing absorption. Then the next one is called assimilation.
Assimilation.
Assimilation. Okay, milation. And the last one is egestion. It is egestion. Okay, now how we are going to describe one by one. एक एक करके अब हम लोग कैसे डिस्कस करेंगे. The first one I am taking, when we are simply taking the solid food, that is called ingestion. Simply हम लोग solid food material को माउथ में लिए, यहाँ इसको कह दिए ingestion. Okay, and amoeba do this by developing false feet called pseudopodia. Okay, so once amoeba come in contact with the food material, what it do? It develop the false feet, and that is called pseudopodia to engulf the food material. ये false feet को develop करता है ताकि food material को ये घेर ले, और उसके बाद जो है food जो है enter करता है, and it directly passes into the food vacuole of amoeba. Amoeba के direct food vacuole में ये food जो है वो pass हो जाता है. Then the digestion starts. In human, if we are talking about, okay, now I am talking about two living organisms. One is amoeba, another one is human. Okay, we are simply discussing this process, holozoic nutrition, by taking the example of two, amoeba as well as human. So in amoeba, what we people notice that for amoeba develop false feet, and then it engulfs the food, and then food passes into its food vacuole. Okay, there the process of digestion is carried out. But if we are talking about the human, if we are talking about us, when we put food into our mouth, at once digestion starts from the mouth. Mouth से ही digestion का process जो है वो start हो जाता है. Okay, so we will say that digestion starts right from the mouth, and it is simply conversion of insoluble food ingredient into simple absorbable form. Digestion क्या है? Conversion of complex food material. Okay, complex food, insoluble food into absorbable soluble form. That is, absorb होने लायक form में जब हम लोग उसको वो convert होता है, तो उसको हम लोग कह दिए digestion. Now, when we are talking about the human, the digestion completes in the small intestine. Digestion का process जो है mouth से start हुआ, but it gets completed in the small intestine. Okay, वो कहाँ complete होता है? Small intestine. But when we are talking about amoeba, the digestion is taking place in its food vacuole, because we know that amoeba is what kind of organism? It is an unicellular. Only a single cell is present. So whatever is done, that is done by a single cell. So the digestion the step, the second step which we people said as digestion, that is taking place inside the food vacuole of amoeba. And here in human, if we people discuss the digestion complete in the small intestine. Okay. After that, there are some food materials which are completely digested, and that food material passes on from small intestine into the blood. That is called, it get mixes with the blood. Okay, so that is the absorption. वो क्या हो गया? Absorption जो है. Okay, digested food material get absorbed in the blood. In amoeba also, the digested material passes from food vacuole into the cytoplasm. Food vacuole से digested material जो है कहाँ चला जाएगा? Cytoplasm में. There the absorption of digested food material, this absorption होगा कौन से material का जो completely digest हो गया. Then the digested material is utilized for various activities of the body. It is utilized for various purpose. Okay, once it is utilized, we call it as assimilation. Digested things, digested food material which mixed into the blood of human, that when utilized, it is called assimilation. So absorbed food material are converted into various constituent of protoplasm. Okay, in case of amoeba we are talking, and that is utilized in case of human, we call it as assimilation. And then the undigested food material, in case of amoeba, it is thrown outside through the food vacuole of amoeba, and in case of human, it passes into, name the organ. Yes, the undigested food material from a small intestine goes into, tell me what you are going to say. It passes to large intestine, na? From there into the rectum and then anus. Okay, so egestion is the last step. It is the last step. It means what? Throwing of undigested component of food out of the body. Body के से बाहर undigested food को निकालना, उसको क्या कह दिए? Egestion. Okay, now how the digestion occurs in amoeba, first of all we will see. These 5 steps are clear to you all? क्या ये 5 step clear है? Tell me, Ayush Ranjan, whether these 5 steps are clear to you? Ayush Ranjan, he is not responding. Ayush Kumar Ranjan, you are hearing me? No response from Ayush. Manish, Niharika, anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all the 5 steps are clear to you all or not? क्या ये 5 steps clear हुए?
Ma'am, third step, please repeat once.
Yes. Tell me.
Ma'am, third step.
Third step, it is not clear to you. See, in first one, what we are saying, when we are taking food into the mouth, okay, that is called ingestion. We are simply taking the food inside. पहले हम लोग फूड को अंदर डाल रहे हैं माउथ में, तो यहाँ इंजेशन हुआ. It is taking in of solid food into the mouth, that is ingestion. Then from there the digestion process start. वहां से digestion process start हुआ. What is digestion? It is conversion of complex food ingredients into simple absorbable form. वहां conversion हुआ किस चीज का? जो complex food material थे वो simple में convert हुए और ऐसे convert हुए कि वो absorb हो जाए. ठीक है, simple absorbable form में वो convert हुए. Then absorption, जो सिंपल एब्जॉर्बेबल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट हो गए थे कंप्लीट डाइजेशन के बाद, ये जो है एब्जॉर्ब हुए. ठीक है, किसमें जाके मिक्सअप हो गए? ब्लड में, ह्यूमन के केस में. तो डाइजेस्टेड सिंपल एंड सॉल्युबल सब्सटेंस passes out of the food vacuole into the surrounding cytoplasm. किसके केस में? अमीबा के केस में. ठीक है, अमीबा के केस में क्या हुआ? जो एब्जॉर्ब्ड फूड मटेरियल था वो फूड वैक्यूल से निकल के साइटोप्लाज्म में आया. ठीक है, और ह्यूमन के केस में वो ब्लड में मिक्सअप हो गया। अब उसके बाद जो डाइजेस्टेड फूड मटेरियल था जो कि एब्जॉर्ब हुआ, एब्जॉर्ब्ड फूड मटेरियल दैट इज यूटिलाइज्ड, वो यूज हुआ, इसको कहते हैं एसिमिलेशन। ओके, द एब्जॉर्ब्ड फूड मटेरियल इज यूटिलाइज्ड, इट इज यूटिलाइज्ड बाय द फॉर वेरियस फंक्शन, दैट इज कॉल्ड एसिमिलेशन। ठीक है, एंड द लास्ट वन इज रिमूवल ऑफ अनडाइजेस्टेड थिंग, दैट इज कॉल्ड इजेशन। These are the 5 steps which is taking place in human as well as in amoeba. दोनों में ये होता है। क्या ये क्लियर हुआ?
Yes,
अभी
ma'am.
yes. Now we are taking the example of amoeba. और these are the 5 steps in holozoic mode of nutrition. जब हम लोग holozoic mode of nutrition की बात करते हैं तो ये 5 steps उसमें है। ठीक है, अब हम लोग amoeba, we people are taking the example of amoeba and now we are going to discuss about how how the process is taking place in amoeba, कैसे amoeba में ये process होता है। तो first of all let us draw an amoeba. We are simply drawing an amoeba. See here how I am drawing amoeba. What kind of organism is amoeba? Anyone? कैसा organism है amoeba? It is
Unicellular.
It is a shapeless organism. No fixed shape is present in amoeba. Amoeba के केस में कोई fixed shape नहीं होता है. It is a shapeless organism. तो उसकी let us draw an amoeba in a shapeless form. We are going to simply indicate it like this. This is an amoeba. See, here I am showing that if any food material is present here, okay, say here any food material is there, what the amoeba is going to do? It is going to develop the false feet like this, and this food material passes into the food vacuole of amoeba. It goes into the food vacuole. Okay, it goes into the food vacuole of amoeba. So what the amoeba is doing? It is developing false feet that is called pseudopodia, and then it is engulfing the food material. So what we are saying, taking of food material, taking in of food material, that is called ingestion. इसको हम लोग ingestion कहते हैं। तो here amoeba is taking the food by developing the false feet. So this one is ingestion. This is the temporary mouth of amoeba, we can say. Okay, so it is developing false feet. It is engulfing the food, taking in of food, that is called ingestion. Now the food passes into the food vacuole. Say here we are representing this as the food vacuole. So the digestion process is carried out in this food vacuole. Digestion कहाँ होगा? इस food vacuole में होगा। ठीक है? Here the complex material is broken down into simpler and simpler form, and the simple materials, when it is broken down into simpler and simpler form, those material which are in simple absorbable form, that will pass from food vacuole to the cytoplasm portion. यहाँ साइटोप्लाज्म वाले पोर्शन में ये आ जाएगा। ठीक है, तो साइटोप्लाज्म वाले पोर्शन में वो पास आउट हो जाएगा एब्जॉर्ब्ड फूड मटेरियल। ठीक है, एब्जॉर्प्शन हुआ, पास हो गया किससे? फूड वैक्यूल से साइटोप्लाज्म। यहाँ एब्जॉर्प्शन हो गया, देन व्हाटएवर इज एब्जॉर्ब्ड दैट इज यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर वेरियस एक्टिविटी, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एसिमिलेशन। जो एब्जॉर्ब हुआ था वो यूटिलाइज हुआ किसके? अमीबा के सेल में, तो इसको हम लोग कह दिए एसिमिलेशन। ओके, व्हाटएवर इज एब्जॉर्ब्ड हियर दैट इज यूटिलाइज्ड and which passes into the cytoplasm, that is utilized by the cell of cell, and this is assimilation. Now the undigested food material which remain inside the food vacuole, that undigested food material will be thrown outside from the food vacuole. So this is called egestion. So there are there are 5 steps in the process of holozoic nutrition, and we are talking about the type of nutrition which is taking place in amoeba. Is this clear to you all? क्या ये clear हुआ? Yes. Amoeba, it is a single celled organism. In the cell of amoeba, what we will find? There is a nucleus, there is a vacuole, that is food vacuole is there. Okay, and cytoplasm will be present